You're welcome once again to the program Know Yourself. Today is a continuation of what we have begun on communication. The last time that we met, we talked about barriers to effective communication among couples. Today, we're going to look at if that is the case. After we have seen the barriers, we are going to look at the guides to effective communication among couples. It means these are not all inclusive. It is just a guide to help us communicate effectively. So that is what we have for you today. Honestly speaking, as couples, in communicating, we aim at receiving appropriate feedback from our partners. And in order to achieve that, we need to take note of some vital issues. And so today, we're going to help us know some of the things that we need to look at. Once we have established obstacles or barriers. So once you know this is barrier, then you should find ways and means to get rid of that barrier. The first on our list today is credibility. And I remember mentioning to you when we were looking at obstacles or the barriers that credibility is one thing that could prevent someone from understanding you, either a couple in this situation, your partner. And so your partner must have confidence in the things that you are saying. He must have high regard as far as your competence is concerned. And then again, I remember telling you that you should say what you mean and you should mean what you say. There shouldn't be any discrepancy about what you are saying and your actions. So in order to have an effective communication, then ensure to be credible. That will help you. Your actions must of necessity match your words. In other words, your actions should support your communication. So that is one thing you can do. Number two, you look at the contexts from where you are operating. A communication program must square with the realities of its environment, and therefore anytime that you are communicating with your partner, you need to situate it into that environment and not some 3 years ago or last week or last month or something. Just look at the environment, that very context. Then, number three, you should take note of the content of whatever you package to your partner as well. Very, very important. The message you are giving to him must have meaning for him or her and must be also comfortable or compatible with his or her value system. Very, very important. So the content must be well packaged in order to be understood by your partner. Then endeavor to look at clarity as well. The message must be put in simple terms. He is your partner. She is your partner. So this is not the time for you to give some big vocabularies or some terms that would not be meaningful to him or her. Words must mean the same thing to the receiver as they do to you, the sender. And so you should be clear. Then again, you should look at the channel of communication. I remember we talked about channel of communication when we were looking at the processes of communication. And so established channels of communication should be used. Channels that your partner respects so much. And so find a comfort zone so the two of you can use it. Is it through phone calls? Is it through WhatsApp? Is it on Facebook or texting or anything? Establish those lines of communication. When do we even meet? All that we need to agree. When I am busy doing this time you give me my privacy, something. So establish that channel for communication. Then again, if you want to have an effective communication, then you should be mindful of the capability of your partner. who will be listening to you as well. Communication is most effective when it requires the least effort on the part of the recipient. The communicator must therefore always take into account the capability of his or her audience. And so anytime that you are communicating with your spouse, you should understand his or her capability. And so you would not be saying certain things that will be over and above his or her understanding. Thus, you as a communicator should consider your partner's readiness, his ability to absorb, his knowledge, and all that. Then again, in your quest to achieve effective communication, you need to encourage feedback in your conversations as often as possible. Because whenever you are communicating, means that something is in you that you want to give to the other person and you are expecting a feedback. So from time to time, you need to encourage that feedback. Then on point number 8, try and use face-to-face communication when necessary. If something could be texted, if something could be WhatsApped, if something could be done on the phone, and if you think there is a possibility of you meeting your partner at home to discuss, there are certain things you can say it on phone, you come home, you establish, and he or she will tell you that, no, that is not what I heard on the phone. Maybe at times there will be noise around, distortions around. So as much as possible, you try to use face-to-face communication when necessary. I'm saying when necessary because at times you cannot but to call or to use other medium. Then another thing that we said was an obstacle was the failure for couples to realize that the two of you have distinctive personal needs. And as a result, if indeed you want to achieve effective communication, then you need to recognize that. Don't fail that. Recognize that the two of you have different distinctive personal needs. And therefore, you make it your life goal to meet your partner's needs. And there is a saying that it's reciprocal. Once you endeavor, you make it a point to attend to his or her needs, he will do that to you as well. Then again, determine to resolve differences God's way. After all, you are in relationship. You are not enemies. You are lovers for God's sake. And so if something happens, try and understand it as enshrined in the scriptures, that we should forgive and then move on as couples in life. One thing that we also observed to be an obstacle was trust, and therefore don't allow yourself to be mistrusted. Don't lose the credibility before your spouse. Trust each other completely and don't give evidence of your partner to mistrust you. And then ensure to develop effective listening habits as we talked about it. And as we come in to the end of today's presentation, I just want us to know that many people indeed get disappointed after a few months or a few years of marriage. The simple reason, among others, is that the fact that the couples lack the requisite skills to communicate effectively. And so communication becomes very relevant when it comes to relationship. As a result, I encourage all of us to find possible means of communicating. Try to read a lot, try to listen a lot, and then try to demonstrate in your relationship anything that you can do to help you acquire the skills of communication. And I assure you, you would enjoy the benefits of communication. Indeed, you can make or break or if you like, you can break, or you can destroy, you can repair your marriage through the level of communication in that relationship. And so, know when, how, where to speak. We thank you so much today too for your attention. Again, we are encouraging you to send us your comments so we can serve you better. Bye-bye.